Hi there, and welcome to Empowerment Hour here at Calon FM. It's actually here in my home again, because we are still in this splendid lockdown that we find ourselves in, all sparkly, all singing, all dancing, and getting the garden done. I don't know about anybody else, but my garden's beginning to look amazing. So who am I talking to today? Well, it's my lovely friend, Ben Calder. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Denise. Lovely to be here in your home.
I know, isn't it weird?
Really? Yeah, especially when I'm in my home.
I know, it's like the strangest situation, and yet somehow it's now normal. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And it's I find it very interesting how I wasn't sure what I was going to step into with all of this, and everyone, all of my guests that I've spoken to have gone, right, oh yeah, I'm up for this. Like, are people that bored? They've got nothing else to do, and they're like, yep, I'll be there, not a problem. It's like, okay, cool, let's do this then. So as always, I want to thank my editor Amy at Calon FM, who without her this show wouldn't actually go out on the airwaves. So I might be recording it, but without Amy it wouldn't happen. So
Yay,
I'm very, very
Amy.
grateful to her. Thank you, Amy. Woo! So Ben, what's been happening for you in this splendid, sparkly lockdown situation that we're in?
I mean, it's been a really interesting piece of time, to be honest. There was a part of me that at the beginning of it had some little trepidation about it. But I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I knew I would be okay for a few weeks. I didn't have to worry about money immediately. And I took the opportunity to move from my place in Shrewsbury, and I'm currently staying up at my partner's place just outside of Harden, because we felt it would be a better place to manage resources and to physically and emotionally be able to support each other more. And I've just been using the time to adjust myself. So I've been taking more time to do meditation and qigong and study and just allow my body a bit of a reset. I completed my advanced shadow mastery diploma. I've set up for some other learning to do for myself as well. Been learning other things like how to improve how to do podcasting, and just literally playing with the time a little bit, but with trying not to put myself under too much pressure, really.
Yeah, I mean, I get that you, like me, most of your work has come from being one-to-one with clients.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
isn't it, well, I don't know, I'll speak for me, isn't it strange?
Really, to not be hands-on with people when I've spent the last 17 years with almost all of my work being hands-on with people or in a space with people, and being able to make adjustment and make connection that way, to go to a state where I can't do the things I normally do and having to rethink about what I could do, how I could do it, how it would serve me and other people, it has been a really interesting challenge. And the part of that time has actually been like, oh God, I don't know quite what to do, or if I want to do it, or how I want to change it. And it's been, for me, it's been a really nice pause, and I've been trying to classify it as a pause and as a retreat, because I'm lucky enough that there's enough space around me here that I don't have to nail myself in a house. This is not like a zombie apocalypse where I've got to board up the windows and the doors and I can't see people around me. So there's movement around me. I can see people around me. Like the other night, up the street from us, there was a lady who put a PA system on her drive, and she was an incredible vocalist. She's actually trying to get like an interview or a chance to get onto whatever will be the voice, like somewhere in the future. And so there was neighbours all stood in their driveways with wine and sitting on the curbs and hanging out. So all responsibly distanced, not in big groups, families only, listening to this beautiful lady singing. And so there's been some really, really interesting stuff coming out of this time, and there's a part of me that's really grateful for it, and sees what a contribution it can offer to me, to the people I work with, to the places around me. And as much as it's causing chaos, I'm not concerned that there is an evolution and growth out of that. It's just how I think we frame it.
Yeah, cool. I know one of the things that we've done here at home is we drew a big rainbow at the end of the drive, so all the families going past can see it. And I got really excited one day when a girl, I could say she was about 12, 13, took a picture of it on her phone.
Is it viral?
Like, oh, so cool. And then there's a family down the road who've gone a whole stage further by putting loads of flowers and a big high on theirs, you know, really done it up. But they have got little ones down the road. So you know what? My daughter and I mean, Evie's 27, so we did what we did.
Yeah. And that's perfect. We use the time and we can be creative. We don't have to let this hurt us in any kind of particular way that isn't good for us. It's how we see it.
Exactly. I tell you what, you mentioned something, the shadow course. Let's take a break, and I'd love to come back and find out more about that and just exactly what's involved with a shadow course. Hi there, welcome back. This is Empowerment Hour. I'm Denise Oliver, recording from home, and my guest is Ben Calder, who on the other end of this recording platform is in his home as well. So thank you for being here, Ben. Really appreciate this.
Love it.
You mentioned, what did you say you'd completed? A diploma in what?
My Advanced Shadow Mastery Diploma. So, you know, you and I have spoken before, Denise, about the Embracing Your Shadow workshops that I've been teaching down in Shrewsbury for, I think it's nearly 7 years now. And for anybody that hasn't come across the shadow work before, this is a psychological model that helps us to understand why we get so upset by other people, what it is about other people that can trigger us, frustrate us, annoy us so much. And there's been some really life-changing work for me. It's really supported me through my life, and I love seeing the benefits it has to other people. So earlier on in the year, I started an Advanced Shadow Mastery Diploma because I kind of wanted to take my educational level, formal level, to that another level higher. And I'm pleased to say that just the other week, I got my final. It was a 10 module, 150-hour study piece, and I got my final one back. Overall mark, average mark for the whole course, 97.5%, passed with distinction. So I was very happy about that.
My word.
But I would hope so, you know, if you do shadow work for kind of, well, I mean, I've been doing it overall for about 9 years now. So to actually, you know, if I hadn't done really well on the course, I'd be a bit worried. But it's been really good because, again, I had scheduled for the weekend that's just gone, that 25th, 26th of April, I'd scheduled a shadow course to be run down in Shrewsbury. And obviously with the lockdown, we weren't going to be allowed to hang out in the same room and do it. And I thought, well, is there a way that I can deliver this online and open it up to a different platform? And again, this whole process of thinking, how can I adapt what I do and how I do it in a way that is supportive for me and other people, and is reasonable to do and within my skill set and so on. And thankfully, I've managed to rewrite the course that I've been doing for the last 6-7 years and put it in a format that we can then do online. So although we were kind of like 7 hours a day, we were actually really in hour-long chunks that we would do a little bit of theory, do a little bit of Q&A, do an exercise, do some feedback. And we just repeated that over the 2 days, all via Zoom. And it was so successful. You know, we had a group of 20 people and it was beautiful. You know, really, really impressed with how they did and the work that we did and the spaces that they went into, and impressed that even though we were going into some quite deep psychological stuff for people, it was very manageable on Zoom as a platform. And you know, there are other platforms available. It's not an exclusive system. So it worked really nicely and has not only inspired me to redevelop that course to work with it differently, but it's also spurred on 2 further modules that I'm now going to go into development with. And what I'm really hoping to do is set the introduction course up so that it can be done in 2 ways. That either you can do it as a self-guided course, so that it'll be perennially available, so that people can just go and find it, book onto it, do it bit by bit. And also I'm going to offer more in-depth versions where you can do it with me and spend a weekend with me or 2 days with me and play with that. And then I'm going to have the additional modules added on, which will be extensions for that. And I've been thinking about them for years, but not really managed to narrow the focus enough and frame it in a way that I think could be successful. But now I've had this time, I've been able to really percolate, because I've been sat, we've made a little meditation space here at Jane's place, and I've been sat and just letting stuff percolate. And it's been really useful to be able to then see that. And, we've set up an office space and so on.
Can you give an example of what comes up for people with shadow work?
Yeah, I mean,
so just in case someone's interested and wants to go and find out the course they can do on their own, what are the sort of things that they might experience?
I mean, I think one of the best things to recognize, first of all, is how easily we're triggered by our shadow. So I'm sure that there's been a situation at some point in your life where somebody's done something and it's really got in your craw, and in your head you've gone, I wouldn't do that, but that person doing it, oh man, that they shouldn't be doing that. That's terrible.
You mean like when journalists ask stupid questions on the TV and you just want to go into the telly and slap them? You mean like that?
Sure. But there's also the condition inside there that you don't think you would have done that. So there's this something about in the shadow, I wouldn't do that, but they did it, and now that upsets me. That gets right on my nerves. And this is our shadow kind of jumping out. It's all the places where we think we are not a thing, but other people are a problem. And and there's a very big message within that. So, anytime anybody drains you, anytime anybody really winds you up, anytime anybody really drags something out of you that just drives you wild and you feel out of control with it. A lot of anxiety is in with this, a lot of depression is in with this, stuff that you just feel out of control of. The environment, the people around you seem much bigger, and you seem so diminished or incapable of doing anything with it that it's problematic for you.
And this sounds now like the sort of thing that while we're in this sort of lockdown situation, an absolute perfect thing for people to be looking into. So it's like a great self-development type thing that they could be choosing.
Oh, absolutely. Because, you're stuck with family for a start off. And, one of the biggest sources of shadow stuff is the family. There's so much stuff going on the internet where we're reading things or seeing things, and it's really winding us up because we can't really perceive the body language, the tonality, and so on, the context that people are speaking in. So we're projecting our stuff at the words without really having the full picture. So, now is a beautiful time for shadow. And I'm going to look to redo this weekend again in about 8 weeks. I'm thinking about towards the end of June to redo it again. And then I've definitely got another one set up in September as well.
Sounds fantastic. Thanks for that. Is there anything else on shadow work you want to say before we take a break, other than do it?
Do it. It's probably, I mean, if you're a parent, if you're somebody who's trying to manage people anywhere, this is the thing to stop you from being so wound up by the situations you're in. So it literally does help keep you calmer, be more in control, and to understand why people behave the way they do and why you behave the way you do a lot more easily.
Fabulous. So we'll take a break now, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to find out what your Qigong practice is doing during this time. Hi there, welcome back. This is Empowerment Hour with myself, Denise Oliver, and my guest, Ben Calder. Ben, how is the Qigong going? What is happening with that? Because you were doing it in a park in Shrewsbury.
Sure.
So where is it now?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really interesting time as well, because we were over this year, part of what we've been doing, Jane's been working with me, and we've had a series of mini retreats that we've done down at a place called Dudgley Farm in Church Stretton, where we've been doing sessions of Qigong, yoga, meditation, and we were building up to having the founder of Life Force Qigong, my brother Simon, joining us in May from the 11th to the 17th to lead a week-long in-depth retreat on it. And when the whole Corona joy began, he got trapped in Brazil and literally is at the moment living in a jungle, crafting fruit out of the jungle, kind of very simple living, because it's too dangerous to get from where he is to an airport to try and get out of the country.
Wow.
So we had to cancel so much of his retreat work. And obviously all the classes that I've been doing, which, you know, often in Shrewsbury were sold out weeks in advance to get into the classes, all of that has had to stop because we can't get together. So I've been live streaming on my Facebook page, which is Life Force Patterning on Facebook. So 3 times a week, Mondays at 4, Wednesdays at 11 a.m. and Fridays at 4 p.m. And just doing it on a donation basis. You just pop a donation through to me on PayPal. And so I'm trying to find beautiful places around Harden where I'm lucky enough to be able to walk out and set up a live video and do some practice with people, and really focusing on calming down the breathing, on loosening and moving the body, so that where people are perhaps spending more time sitting, or they're less active, or they're not eating as well because we're kind of stuck inside. So, you know, there's a lot of jokes about people going to the fridge for the 20th time and seeing what else is in there. And you know, so the body might not be feeling as soft and as loose and as comfortable. So I'm really working on just softening the body up, helping the breathing, boosting energy, helping the immune system within this as well, because as we calm the body and the breathing down, our parasympathetic nervous system boosts our immunity, and really just working on that, how that breathing calms anxiety, how it helps depression. So we're just looking after it. Very, very simple stuff. You know, it can be done by anybody, any ability. I talk about how you can do it in a chair if you are not able enough to be able to stand up for the hour or so that we practice. And it's been really good fun.
Just say, you talk about doing it in a chair or standing, just say what it is, just a little bit about what Qigong is, in case, you know, people have never heard of it, although why wouldn't they? You've been on my show.
Yeah.
Just in case we may have a lot more, you know, listeners now, because you know, there's people are at home. What else are we going to do?
There's time to listen, isn't there?
There is.
Sure. I suppose the easiest way to envision it, and one that most people will get a quick grasp of, is an easy form of Tai Chi. So Tai Chi, a lot of us know, is this mindful, slow Chinese movement, which is technically a martial art, and it's one long form of movement. With Qigong, we're more health focused, and it's a lot of smaller movements that we repeat, but they're done mindfully. So we're really paying attention to how our body feels. We're doing things slowly. So if you want to see it as a counterpoise as well, if Joe Wicks is the yang of the exercise world during lockdown, I'm the yin. So he's the kind of power and I'm the gentleness. And, you know, I joked, especially in the first couple of weeks, because there were so many people popping up and saying, you know, 3-4 days into Joe Wicks and I'm in pain. I'm really struggling. And it's kind of, you know, they're going in this no pain, no gain mentality, and it's the other way. For us in Qigong, no pain, all the gain. So the softness and the gentleness, it's like somebody giving you a nice hug and just being kind, and you just feeling, that feels nicer. I feel more relaxed. I feel calmer. I feel in a better place. And like my mum's joining in on it every day that we do it. And so where she is in isolation as well, you know, because she's over 70, you know, she's got respiratory condition history. So we're just being really careful with her. And so she's joining in. That gives her a connection in. And it's just a really nice way of looking after the body to reduce some of this anxiety that comes from being penned in.
And so how do people find you? What happens? They go to Facebook?
Yeah, so you can do a couple of things. So both on my website, which is bencalder.co.uk, on the Centre for Integral Health's website, which is integralhealthshrewsbury.com, on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/lifeforcepatterning. All of them have got the classes advertised on them. And each place has got a link through to the live stream. And all you do is show up on the Facebook page, 4 o'clock on a Monday, 11 a.m. on a Wednesday, and 4 p.m. on a Friday. And you can just watch the live stream. There's a link in the video description to go through to the donations page. And I'm just saying to people, put in anything you can. And I'm getting donations from £1 up to £100 coming in. So people are kind of looking at what they can provide, how they value it, you know, which I'm so appreciative of, because there are some people who financially are doing okay right now. And I'm so grateful. I even had another Tai Chi teacher who lives in Montgomeryshire put a donation in and just say, I really appreciate the work you're putting out there for people, and I'm in a position where I can support you. You know, and he's putting his own stuff up as well, and I'm sharing his stuff and he's sharing my stuff. So there's this beautiful kind of community side in it as well.
Well, how does it get any better than that, Ben Calder?
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah, cool. So you've given out all those websites and everything, and please come back and listen to the show again if you didn't quite catch them. But I think we could also say them again at the end of the show. And yeah, long may it continue. It's nice as well that you've actually got that donation system, because like you say, there are some people who are really struggling, and then there are others who are sat at home twiddling their thumbs, wondering what on earth to do with their time because they've been furloughed and they can't do anything else. So cool. Good on you, Ben. So we're going to take a break. Hi there, welcome back. So Ben, what else have you been up to in your splendid isolation and lockdown and whatever else we're going to call it today? I know one thing that you do love to do, and you were doing this before you went to Harden in Shrewsbury. You were growing your own food. So how is that going? Are you still managing to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, it's got even better. So thankfully, the place I'm here in Harden, I've got a little bit more space that I'm sharing with my partner Jane. And we've been doing all sorts of stuff. We've both been playing with our systems, our work systems. We've built a brand new office for ourselves here. So we took an old converted garage that was a dining room that wasn't really doing much. And my partner Jane is an interior designer. So we've constructed this amazing kind of like co-working space that we can use that lets us out into the garden and does all sorts of stuff. Jane's been developing her work so that she can do interior design walkthroughs virtually. So for a lot of people who are stuck at home, working from home, maybe the office space at home isn't all that conducive. So she can literally teach you how to take the stuff that you've got at home and redesign your space with it and mentor you through it virtually. You know, so that's been really fun to watch. We've been growing food here on the balcony. So as I look through now, we've got chili plants, cucumbers, oregano, basil all starting to come up here. And we were lucky enough to take over an allotment at the beginning of the year, just short distance walk. And thankfully for us, Harden Council have decided that allotment use is a valid activity. So we're allowed in there for a period of time as long as we maintain our physical distancing and appropriateness there. So we've been going down to the allotment and really kind of turning it over, and we've got all sorts of fabulous stuff in there. And, you know, so it's really exciting because we took over this allotment and it's got stuff in it already. There's strawberries, there's raspberries, there's rhubarb, there's all sorts of bits that have been in there. So we've been kind of already feasting out of it, and we've sown loads of herbs. I'm a really big advocate of food being medicine for us. And you know, my rule of thumb really, if I garden, is it's got to be edible or medicinal. You know, and you know, we could argue that the aesthetics of a beautiful flower are medicinal, and they are. But it's great when you can pick those flowers and stick them on your salad and eat them as well. So you know, we're working on building this healthful garden within the allotment, and I try to think about what's available around me. So again, lucky enough here in Cheshire that we can go to the organic shop up on Sealand Road, and they've still got lots of organic fruit and veg. So I don't ever try and grow things like potatoes, carrots, onions, things that are actually fairly readily available, fairly cheap to get hold of. But I like quite specialist stuff. So I'm growing chard at the moment. We've got fennel growing. You know, we're putting squash in. So we're doing stuff that has a different life cycle to it, stuff that we can perennially have as well. So we've got like perpetual spinaches in there, lots of herbs coming through, lovage and thymes and rosemaries and sages and parsleys. And yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Jane likes this sort of stuff as well.
She does now, yeah.
Good on you, Jane. She does now. So how big is the overall allotment site? I love allotments. You see them when you go past them on a train. It's like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon there's probably about 50 plots on there. It's a
Ooh,
decent size, and there's a beautiful oak tree in the middle of it as well. So I'm looking forward to, because I've got an old spare kind of like dining room, like outdoor table and chairs from my place in Shrewsbury, and we're planning to set that up under the oak tree. So in the summer when it's super hot, we can sit in the shade and just hang out, and take fresh mint off the allotment, make drinks, so play
yeah.
with it like that. And there's lots of really, really lovely people on there as well. A lot of different ages as well, which I really like. So we've got older people there, we've got younger people, people in their 20s that are just keen to support themselves. And it's really nice to be able to be there with all of these different people, and we're all talking and sharing tips. And the people that have been using these allotment spaces for a lot longer than us are able to talk to us about the way the soil is and kind of what stuff does well there. And so it's really, really nice. There's this beautiful community that's there, all engaged in the same process.
Yeah, I love it. Well, especially in different parts of the country when you get different ethnicities and they all grow slightly different stuff. Especially say Caribbean people will grow stuff that they can in this country as much as you can, that they
Yeah.
recall from their childhood. And
And
what was I going to say? Oh, oak leaf. An uncle of mine used to brew oak leaf wine.
That's right. And you can do it at 2 points in the year. You get spring oak leaf wine, which is the first growth that's just coming out now. And then you get what's known as a Lammas wine, because at the beginning of August, oak goes into a second growth phase and you get a new set of fresh leaves come up. So that technically makes autumn oak wine. And so they both give quite different flavors. I mean, and we're lucky enough as well that we've got hives. Somebody's actually got half a dozen beehives on the site as well. So we're going to all later in the year have fresh honey to enjoy. And it's just like, oh, lovely. I love that.
But isn't that a wonderful thing about what's happening now as well, is that sense of community, of people coming together? Okay, we have to socially distance, but everyone wants to do what they can right now.
Yeah,
No matter what that looks like. I don't know anyone around where well, let me start again. We're one of the youngest couples that live here, and we're in our 60s, and it's like, but everyone is just checking on everyone else, making sure they're okay. We go out in the front garden, and Judith across the road will just pop her head out. Everything okay? It's like, yeah, we're all okay. And we check on the postman and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's just like everyone wants to be sure everyone's okay. And I can't recall a time when it's been like this. I know it's horrendous. I know there's that horrible stuff that's going on, and people are fighting for their lives and stuff like that. But actually, this community spirit, I actually can't recall in my life.
Exactly. It's the healthiest expression of socialism I've seen in my life, because there are people that are just wanting to be good for other people and care for other people as well. And, it's really touching. And where that's being aimed in productive and healthy ways, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I just appreciate everyone that's doing everything they can. It's like you get a note through your door to say that within this area, the community association is just checking on everyone who needs their shopping doing, all that sort of thing. So anywhere anyone's doing anything like that, good on you. Because when I do my Thursday night clap, it's not just for the NHS, it's for everyone, absolutely everyone. So a break now, and I think we're actually coming into our final section of the show. So let's just, let's take a break now. Cool. How does it get any better than this? So Ben, how are you and Jane sort of taking care of each other personally? What have you discovered about you and actually moving in with your partner that you might not have known about before? What does she know about you now that she
what I look like when I'm feral? So if any of you are lucky enough to see the video playback of this, I'm sure will leak its way onto the world somehow. You'll see that I've become a little bit feral during.
I've never seen you with a beard like that ever.
No, sure. It's quite distinguished, isn't it? It's better than I thought it was going to be.
You know what? I'll tell you who you're reminding me of, but of a slimmed down version. Paul Hollywood.
Okay, definitely slimmed down version.
Yeah, very much so.
And more discerning, I think. Do you know, it's been a really amazing opportunity. It's Jane and I have been talking about moving in together for a little while. And we've been taking it very slowly. We've been just making sure that we're considering what's going on for us and that we're really accommodating other. And it's been a great process of us making changes, talking about them, experiencing whether or not there is any tension or contraction coming in from a change, or whether or not it's creating expansion and lightness. And I mentioned the whole kind of office refurb, and we've had to find a place for all my guitars and the noise I make when I play guitars, and space for meditation, and to be able to work in the same space. As I mentioned, Jane's doing these kind of virtual interior design walkthroughs. I'm doing some online work like this with my clients as well. So we've had to work out how we can creatively divide the space, make that work for ourselves, and make adjustments that make this home about us, so that there's this balanced and fair reflection of each other. And it's been a really creative kind of endeavor. And that's not to say that we haven't had some tension, some difficulty, but part of what I love is our willingness to communicate our way through it and highlight, okay, this is where I was at that point. What was it that was creating that tension? How can we make those adjustments? And we both feel that we're doing really well with this. We've known friends and people that we're connected to that during this have actually moved out from each other because they can't handle the amount of time that they're getting with each other. And we're both really enjoying it and finding it very supportive, very nurturing for each other as well. So I've been super grateful about that. And it's given me a time to do more meditation, to catch up on sleep. My workload was, for me, a little bit not in balance before this happened. And so I'm super grateful for the pause, because it's like a little home retreat where I spent I think the second week. The first week I was kind of just getting in and kind of working out what we needed and the usual kind of stuff. And then in the second week, I just lay down on the couch and watch Netflix and just kind of
Who
catch
hasn't?
up a little bit. Yeah, sure. Watched a few things that I kind of fancied, but never
Anything you'd recommend?
So I'm a big fan of something called Altered Carbon on Netflix, which
Don't know it. I'll write that one down.
Which is it's a sci-fi one. It's a bit kind of masculine would be my take on it.
Okay.
I've also been really enjoying Rick and Morty as well, which is a cartoon that's
No, I'm not into Rick and Morty. No.
Insane multi-dimensional perspectives. We've also been watching a funny series called Sex Education, which is Gillian Anderson. Hilarious, really loved that. And also something that we've just found that for various reasons has been hilarious, but watching a series called Cooked with Cannabis. And it's culinary art. I mean, it's amazing what these professional chefs are producing, and the science behind what they're infusing, how they're infusing, why they're infusing. It's really opening my eyes to the breadth of the health of kind of culinary cannabis culture. And I find that kind of interesting. So I've been enjoying that as well. And then just lots of odd films and other bits. Not that I've been watching loads of Netflix. I've been studying and working,
But then you're not someone who's particularly done a lot of telly watching for a long time now. You've been so focused on your business and growing that. And actually, in many ways, I think it is like everyone's had to go on a retreat, go to a spa, do stuff, I thought that when this lockdown was coming, I thought, I'll have my house immaculate, my garden will be sorted. I haven't done any of that. I've just been really enjoying the time and just looking at the stuff, a bit like you've done. Like, what haven't I completed? What courses haven't I finished? What else could I read? All of that sort of thing. So that's where my energy's been going as well. I think we're just about done, aren't we, Mr. Calder? Is there anything else you want to share?
Not really. I just want to say, if you're struggling at home, come and check in with me about the shadow stuff. If your body ain't doing well, come and do some Qigong with me. There's lots that we can do to support each other in this time. There really is. And there's a way of moving through all of this where we don't have to lose ourselves. We can actually find a new center and a new stability. And with support from people, without getting into all of this crazy fear that's going on around, without getting lost in other people's states, we can take this opportunity to come back to center and be ready to move forward in new ways for ourselves, and let go of the fear, people, and find the laughter, find the joy.
Yeah, really cool. Thank you so much, Ben. I really appreciate it. Always love our chats.
Me too, thank you.
Who knows when we'll be back in the studio.
Sure.
Anyway, we shall see how it goes. So thank you, everyone who's listening, and I'll be back next week. Thank you, Ben. Say
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.